You know that feeling when you're the human glue between all your different apps, just endlessly copying and pasting data from one place to another just to get your work done? Well, today we're going to look at a tool that's basically a digital Swiss Army knife for that exact problem. It's called n8n, and trust me, it's an incredibly powerful way to automate your digital life and finally get some of your time back. So let's dive in. All right, so here's the game plan. First, we'll talk about that digital chaos that I'm sure we all deal with. Then we'll open up the n8n toolkit to see what's inside. After that, we'll connect our digital world with a real-world example, unlock some of its really cool custom power, and then we'll wrap up by thinking about how you can automate your own ambition. Okay, so let's kick things off with a problem that I bet is super familiar to pretty much everyone listening. It's this digital chaos we live in, where all of our tools just refuse to talk to each other. No, seriously, just think about it for a second. You've got your email over here, your spreadsheet over there, your project management tool, maybe a CRM. Are any of those things actually talking to each other automatically? Yeah, for most of us, the answer is a big nope. All our important data gets completely stuck in these little digital islands. And what happens? We're forced to do all this manual, repetitive work that is just a colossal waste of time. And that digital friction, that is exactly the problem automation tools were born to solve. And this is where n8n comes into the picture. It's an open source tool built to tackle this exact problem. It lets you connect all your different apps and services together and build automated workflows using a really simple visual editor. Now, the key phrase here is open source. And why does that matter? Well, it means you get complete control and total transparency over your data and exactly how your automations are running. Okay, so let's pop the hood on this digital Swiss Army knife and see what tools we're working with. We're going to look at the fundamental building blocks of any workflow you'll create in n8n. You know, at its heart, every single automation is basically a simple 3-step process. Think of it like a domino chain. First, something has to start it, right? That's the trigger. It could be a new file showing up or just a scheduled time. Next, you have the nodes. These are the action takers. They do the work, like reading a spreadsheet or calling an API. And finally, the best part, your data just flows through the whole thing, passing from one node to the next. It's really that simple and logical. So if you're going to have all these different apps communicating inside one workflow, they need to speak the same language, right? Well, in the world of n8n, and honestly most of the modern web, that language is JSON. Don't let the name scare you. It's just a super simple text-based way to organize data. It's lightweight, it's easy for humans to read, and that's why pretty much every service out there knows how to speak it. And what does this data actually look like? Well, it's all organized into these simple little pairs. You've got a key and a value. Think of it like a label and the info it's attached to. So you have a key like name, and its value is Jane Doe. Then another key, status, and its value is active. That's it. It's an incredibly clean and efficient way for totally different systems to pass information back and forth. All right, that's enough theory for now. Let's get our hands dirty and actually see this thing in action. We're going to build a super simple but really practical workflow that connects a couple of tools that I'm willing to bet you use all the time. So here's our mission. Should we choose to accept it, we're going to build a workflow that automatically pulls student data right out of a Google Sheet. The goal? To say goodbye to manual exporting and copy pasting forever. And building this is honestly so intuitive on the visual canvas. First, you just drop in a trigger node to get the whole process started. Then you grab a Google Sheets node and just tell it, hey, I want to get some rows. And the last step, you literally just draw a line between them to connect them. Boom, just like that, data is flowing from your spreadsheets straight into n8n, ready for you to work your magic. Okay, connecting two apps is cool. That's a great start. But the real magic of n8n, where it really shines, is in its flexibility. So let's look at the features that take it from being just a simple connector to being a genuine power tool. And right at the heart of all that power is one special node, the code node. Seriously, this thing is your secret weapon. You know those times when a pre-built integration just doesn't do exactly what you need? Well, the code node lets you drop in a little bit of JavaScript to handle, and I mean this literally, any custom logic you can possibly dream up. And here's a perfect example of what I mean. On the left, you can see the basic student data coming into our workflow. But on the right, after it passes through that code node, check it out. We've used a tiny script to add a brand new mark field to every single student. That right there is custom data transformation in real time. So how do you actually use this data in other nodes? Well, n8n has this super simple expression syntax. So instead of typing out a static name like John, you can use a dynamic expression inside these double curly braces. See that $Jason.name? Think of that as a placeholder. It tells n8n, hey, whatever student record we're looking at right now, grab their name and put it here. This is what makes your automation so powerful and dynamic. And trust me, the power does not stop there. You've got things like the IF node, which lets your workflow make decisions, like only process students who have a mark above 50. Then there's the HTTP request node. This is basically your golden ticket to connect to any API on the web, even if there isn't a special node for it. And of course, you can easily loop over items, so you can process thousands of records, no problem. So we've seen how n8n can connect our apps, how it can completely transform our data, and even handles some pretty complex logic. And all of that brings us to the most important question, really. What are you going to build with all this power? So just to recap what makes n8n such a beast of a tool. First, it's open source, which means total freedom and transparency for you. It's also self-hostable, which is huge. It means you can keep your data on your own servers for ultimate privacy. You get super flexible integration with hundreds of nodes, plus the ability to connect to basically any API. And of course, that code-level control for when you need to go beyond what a simple no-code tool can offer. And that brings us to one last really crucial question for you to think about. I want you to picture your own daily work. All that tedious copying and pasting, the manual reports you have to run. What is that one repetitive, soul-crushing task that you would absolutely love to automate and just eliminate from your life forever? Because with a tool like this in your corner, the possibilities are, well, pretty much endless.